Hello, lovelies. Well, it's great to be back on again around the full moon. Powerful, powerful time. I've had some interesting things happen in my life. I've just done a whole month on ivermectin, and honestly, I felt really clear now inside. It's definitely made a difference anyway. Because as many of us know that there's a lot of talk about parasites at the moment, and ivermectin is the only anti-parasite that goes through the blood-brain barrier to remove all parasites. So that can be bacteria, fungi, intestinal parasites, even tiny microbial parasites that are in the body. And the way I see it is we deworm our pets, we worm our kids when they're young, and we don't tend to do ourselves. So anyway, I feel great after doing that month, and I think I've lost a little bit of weight, which is wonderful. So it's getting rid of inflammation too, which is fantastic. And I've just last weekend been on a wonderful healing C5 retreat as one of the facilitators. There were 4 of us, and it was absolutely wonderful. We had the honor of having Marcel Hoff, Wim Hof's brother, with us doing breathwork, and who he travels around with, a wonderful lady called Gina, who was doing cacao ceremonies. And I took my gong. I've got a titanium gong called Metatron's gong. It's got Metatron's cube on it. It is titanium, which of course really goes with the human body, hence why doctors, and people have, when they have joints done, it's often titanium. And so I did gong baths, and I took people through a beautiful healing session, and at night we did C5 contacting our beautiful sky friends, which was a blessing. They always turn up, and it's just so wonderful. So anyway, today we're talking about human consciousness, and what a fascinating subject. So I been thinking about that, and I wrote down a list of things to think about, what we can do with our consciousness. That's what I wanted to look at. What can we do with our consciousness, which affects us in real time here, but it also has an effect on a multi-dimensional level through the other planes, the astral planes, and the other dimensional spaces. Or the quantum field, or the unified field, however you want to call it. So I made a list up, and then I thought, oh, I'm actually going to ask AI and see just what AI comes up with, to see if it can go expand on, where I'm thinking of, and because I know what I can do with mine, and it's not just in this realm. And that's taken many years of practice, and hence why I can do distant healing immediately, and all sorts of other stuff. But yeah, I thought I'd ask AI. So a bit of fun, but actually AI was very good in answering. But in some of the answers that came through, and I'm going to read them in a minute, some of the answers came through, I know we can go much deeper and do much more than some of these answers. So what I asked was, my very first question, if I just read it out, because I like to test AI. So the very first thing was, please list all the multidimensional things a human can do with their consciousness. So it was interesting. Basic. The list that came first, and if you use AI, this is also perhaps will help you to not go with what first comes up. So the list was, and I got many of these myself when I wrote my own list, humans can engage their consciousness in very multidimensional ways, including Perception, interpreting sensory information from the environment, which involves seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, and smelling. And there was a whole list of imagination, emotional processing, reflection, problem solving, dreaming, meditation, intuition, empathy, spiritual exploration. Well, I like that one. And I thought, well, I want to know, because I just know we can go much deeper. And I wanted to see what AI could do. So I went, go deeper. And what came up was, delving deeper into multidimensional capabilities of human consciousness, we can explore how each aspect influences our experiences and interactions. And so what came up on that one was enhanced perception, creative imagination, complex emotional stuff, deep reflection, advanced problem solving, lucid dreaming, mindfulness and meditation, intuition, decision making, empathetic engagement, transcendental experiences. I like those because I like delving into other realms. And then it says at the end there, by understanding these layers of consciousness, individuals can enhance their personal development, improve relationships, and contribute to a more interconnected society. Each dimension allows humans to navigate not only their internal landscapes, but also the complexities of the external world. Interesting. But I said, let's go deeper. So I put then, go even deeper and more expansive, because we know we can expand our consciousness out to many, many, many other layers and dimensional spaces. So that's what I did. This is what it came back with. Going even deeper into the multidimensional capabilities, human consciousness reveals intricate layers and intersections of cognitive, emotional, social, spiritual dimensions. Here's an expansive look at how these factors interplay and influence personal and collective experiences. Multisensory perception. Humans can develop synesthetic experiences where stimulation of one sensory pathway leads to automatic experiences in another, e.g. seeing colours when hearing music. This enriches creativity, enhancing the perception of beauty in everyday life. So I thought about that one. I thought, yeah, that is actually really good. But again, we can go deeper on that. So, you know, when you're looking at a leaf or a tree, you can go deeper with your consciousness into the subject, the said subject. So a leaf or a tree or a flower, or anything else, actually, you can go into it with your consciousness and become it. So when I interact with trees, especially when I'm visiting somewhere else, all I do is put my hand on the tree and I ask the tree to show me what it may have witnessed over its lifetime. So I'm tuning in, even though I'm touching the tree, I'm actually tuning into the tree with my consciousness. And the tree, and then start to get images building of what the tree may have witnessed. So in a way, my energetics is becoming one with the tree's energetics. So, you know, we're blending in the field. This is how I like to work. So yeah, the tree often gives me images of what it may have witnessed over time. And I don't pick, you know, what it shows me. I just randomly allow it to show me whatever it wants to. So that's really interesting. So seeing, you know, different colors in, you know, sometimes we can look at, I don't know, we can look at a beautiful sunset and we can see amazing colors in it. Or you can look at the sea during the day and you can actually start to see lots of other colors in there and possibly even hear stuff. So our consciousness expands out in many, many directions. Obviously, they were saying about, or AI was saying about listening to music and seeing colors. You know, you can listen to music and the words in the music, and then you can get like a video playing out in your mind of your perception of the song's words and the song. On another dimensional level, I remember being in the UK and in a place near where my parents live or lived, which was called Main Castle. It's in Dorset, and I got up there for a walk, and my consciousness actually tapped into another timeline because what I heard was a woman scream, and I looked around me. There's no one around, no one at all. And then as I carried on walking across the grass, I realized, or I got shown in my mind, that I'm actually walking on a mud path, but in this realm I'm walking on the grass. So I just carried on, and I could hear, so my consciousness had literally tapped into another timeline. I could hear chinking of metal, I could hear people talking, I could hear animals, and literally this was just a field with nothing else on it, but it was an old castle, an ancient castle that reached back over 6,000 years. And so in my mind, I'm seeing, or in my consciousness, I'm seeing I'm walking down this muddy path through these huts. And again, I hear this lady scream. And I knew then, the second time I heard it, I thought, okay, I've tapped into this because this woman needs help and she's stuck. So that's exactly what I did. I did a full clearing of the whole castle to move her over because she obviously could sense that I could help her. So that's what I did. I did a full clearing, calling in north, south, east, west, and other energies, and it was a very beautiful experience, actually. But it just goes to show that your consciousness can tap into other things without you even trying sometimes. Complex creative processes, which was another thing. So it says creativity can be seen as a multifaceted process involving divergent thinking, generating multiple ideas, and convergent thinking, narrowing down ideas. This duality allows for innovation, whether in art, technology, or social reform, and can lead to collaborative projects that leverage diverse perspectives. Well, for you, all of you that don't know, I actually used to be an artist, and I'm getting the urge to paint again too, by the way. But when I was doing art, I could get totally lost in the painting, or in the painting process. So it was like I'm painting, so I've got part of my consciousness is here, the technical things that I maybe needed to do, but in other areas I tapped into another realm, another dimension, or another space, or the field, and I'm bringing down energy that actually went into the painting. So tapping into those creative spaces, and getting ideas. And this is how inventors work. And it's fascinating stuff. Once you tap into the field of all possibilities, you can bring down information. But painting for me was like being in a meditation state. So being in that state, you really do expand your consciousness out, and you are able to tap into those other forms of information that are there. So that, inventors that bring down things, or people have a fantastic idea about, something to create for the future, like an invention. I do remember that John and I were driving along one day, and I just got this download of information about, this was a few years ago, about creating a box with soil in it and seeds in it, and the instructions on a website, so that people could grow their own food, or if they wanted to, flowers, whatever. But it was mainly for people to grow their own food, and it was like a startup box, if you like. We never did anything with it. And then about 7 months down the track, we saw those gardening pods, which you could buy with soil in it, seeds in it, and all that. So I know that many people all over the world probably got the same download or the similar download that came in at that time. We didn't do anything with it. Many other people probably did do something with it, and hence why we saw those pods arrive now. So fascinating. And I do believe that actually many people get given the same idea, and some people run with it and some people don't do anything about it. The next one was deep emotional intelligence. Beyond basic emotional processing, emotional intelligence encompasses self-regulation, social skills, and empathy. This enables individuals to navigate complex social environments, resolve conflicts, and foster deeper connections with others, leading to more harmonious communities. This is self-evaluation. What if your thoughts are getting all negative? It's great to be fully aware and notice them. Notice your own thoughts. Where are they leading? And then you can change that thought pattern around. And for some, it takes years of training to be fully aware of your own thoughts, not let your mind wander. And then, you know, if something does start coming in which you don't want to think about, or it's negative, or you know it's not true but it's coming in, you can change it. We've got to remember we're powerful beings and we can change things. So emotionally, you know, if you get, I don't know, a burst of anger or a burst of emotional stuff, it's always check in with yourself. Where's that coming from? You know, why am I feeling like that? What can I do about it? Because there are always ways of clearing that energy. Or if you want to sit in it and go, actually, what's this all about? Because we're all clearing things at the moment. Stuff is coming up for everybody. Metacognition comes up next. This refers to the awareness and understanding of one's own thought process. This is basically what we just said as well. By engaging in metacognitive strategies, individuals can enhance learning, adapt their thinking styles, and develop critical thinking skills that can be applied across various disciplines. So I would say I'm a critical thinker. I do not follow what other people think. I listen, and then I tune into myself. Does that feel right for me? If it does, I go, yeah, that feels great. If it doesn't, I don't say anything, because everybody's on their own journey, and I will just think to myself, okay, well, that just doesn't resonate with me. And you know, it's good to, again, you know, what I said before, really, just be aware of what you're thinking. You can change your thought patterns. You can open up new neural pathways within your brain. And while you're opening up new ones, you can actually close down old ones that are no longer needed. And when I think of my own journey, I've never been a real negative person anyway, but, you know, there has been moments when I have dipped down into either anxiety or fear. Certainly when I was about 13, I used to get anxiety. And I remember actually thinking to myself back then, why am I worrying about something in the future when it hasn't even happened yet? What a waste of energy. And that, I even thought that when I was about 13, that just, I think I was probably being helped, but that came into my consciousness. And I thought, oh my goodness, that's so true. Why am I worrying about something that might or might not happen in the future? What a total waste of energy. So I started controlling my future thoughts, if you like. And instead of worrying about something that hasn't happened yet, start to create. So picture what you would like to happen. So there's so much we can do with our consciousness. Spiritual and existential inquiry. Consciousness engages with existential Questions about meaning, purpose, and the nature of reality. This can lead individuals to seek philosophical wisdom, engage in spiritual practices, or explore various religion traditions, contributing to a rich tapestry of diverse beliefs and values. Now, I really like this spiritual one because I delve into all sorts of spiritual realms. I'm in a physical mediumship group, and we are doing transfiguration, and you can see spirit coming down and altering the face, or building a mask, a energetic mask over the face, and you can even see the spirit eyes open. So I love that. And of course, you know, for ET contact and contact into other realms, if your consciousness is open to it, you're more than likely going to experience it. So yeah, we're all multidimensional, and it really depends on whether you tap into that multidimensional side of yourself to experience a much wider range of experiences in this life, remembering again that we are really powerful beings. We have been dumbed down over the years and been led to believe that we're not very powerful, and that's all about control. Whereas actually, once you start believing that you are a powerful being, you can be. I remember years ago that me and my friend started doing experiments through Zoom. So she'd be sat in her house, which would be, say, a 30-minute drive away from where I lived. And what we would do is we would light a candle in each other's room, and the other one would go into deep meditation while the other one would blow the candle, but set the intention that they're blowing the candle in the other person's house. And so the deep meditation state, they'd have their eyes open, so they're watching their candle, because if you ever stare into a candle and the flame, it can take you into an altered state. So staring at the candle, which, you know, would be just up high, you know, straight up. And then once we started blowing our own candle, you could actually see my friend's candle start to flicker. So, you know, it proved to us that we can take our consciousness anywhere if we want to. So at the same time, being here, being fully present, blowing the candle, also round where my friend was, blowing the candle there. And I find that I do this when I'm doing a group healing session. I can split my consciousness, if you like, into several different, I don't know what you would call it, forms, or go to each person at the same time, if you know what I mean. So it's fascinating stuff. Collective consciousness, group stuff. Now, what can we do when we are in a collective group? Oh my goodness, we can do so much. It's so much more powerful when you're doing group work. There's one I'm thinking about is there's a group called the Arcturians. I can't remember the founder's name at the moment, but anyway, he's in the States. And he was doing, or the group that I connected to a few years ago were doing weekly meditations. And so we would meditate on a weekly basis to create a city of light over certain cities. And we'd be doing it for weeks, months. And what eventually started happening was that the crime rate went down. People became happier. The more negative side of society started moving out, and more positive, creative people started moving in. It was amazing to actually see, and it was proven. And what happened was, because a lot of us don't do it anymore, the group sort of dwindled away. After we stopped, the crime rate all started to come back again. So the collective consciousness of us all meditating at the same time, creating this city of light over a city, created such a powerful high vibe in that city that, you know, the crime rates went down and everything. So again, we're really powerful people. If we actually get together in groups, we can change the world, literally. So altered states of consciousness. I love this because that's what I do in deep meditation. And when I'm doing a healing on people, go into a deep altered state of consciousness. This is what it says here. These can be achieved through various means such as meditation, breath work, psychedelics, or fasting. Such states can lead to profound insights, altered perceptions of time and space, and experiences of unity with the cosmos, often resulting in lasting changes in attitude and behavior. Wonderful. So altered states of consciousness, if you ever meditate, do OBE, out of body experiences, oh my goodness, physical mediumship, just mental mediumship, where you are connecting with your consciousness up to the realms of the spirit world and to connect with loved ones. With your consciousness doing psychic work, it's another altered state. There's just so many, you know, you can be in a float tank and be in an altered state. So yeah, so many different ways. And, you know, going on a multi-dimensional meditation journey, hypnosis is just such a lot of different ways. Connecting into, if you're into ET contact, connecting into, once you've done the CTS and sent energy or light up into the cosmos and you come across a craft, you can, with your consciousness, go inside and communicate with other beings. And the same in multidimensional spaces here. Inner earth, the nature beings, you know, or spirit. So many different ways of, you know, being in these altered states of consciousness. I love all that stuff. Here we go in integrative healing practices. This is what AI says. Consciousness can also be harnessed for healing through therapies that engage in mind-body connection, such as somatic experiencing or energy healing modalities. This holistic approach recognizes that emotional and psychological well-being directly influences physical health. So as a healer, you can do so much when you're tuning into someone else and facilitating healing. You know, when I work with people via Zoom that might be in another country, I am able to tune into their inner child. So things that may have happened when they were children, that has caused a emotional imbalance or a traumatic experience that has caused an emotional imbalance. Whenever anyone gets an emotional imbalance, often it then starts to develop in the physical body and creating some form of pain or something. So being able to get to the very seed or the spark of that problem, and again, my consciousness travels down when I'm tuning into that person to certain areas in childhood that is presenting itself at that time. And then I talk to their inner child. And I've got several different ways of healing that. Another one is that sometimes we bring through cellular memory or emotional memory from past life trauma that may have happened. So, you know, I tune in to see if it's connected to inner child or past life, or is there something else going on? And if I get past life, then I ask my higher self, if you like, or my team, as they call them, I call them, to show me the very beginning point, the very spark, the life that this energy was first created. And they take me to that very beginning point, and I often see how that person perhaps died in that lifetime, or a traumatic event that happened in that lifetime. Sometimes I see that person as the same sex, sometimes I see them as the opposite sex, and I get a feeling of what is happening. And again, I'm able to change and heal that life. And it's amazing how you see that the knock-on of energy that comes right the way up into this lifetime, releasing all of that energy that's been carried forward. It's massive, and it's amazing to see. Yeah, so there's many other things, you know, that you can tap into with your consciousness if you're working with someone else for healing. The ancestral lines is another one, going down both mum and dad's side and asking if there's anything there that needs to be shifted, whether it's to do with health, whether it's to do with old programs, old beliefs, you know, all that stuff. And if there is anything there for it to be presented, so you can then either draw it out or start healing it in whatever way that is for you. Yeah, I mean, there's also other ways of what I call visitors, and that's spirit that haven't gone into the light, so to speak, and they're stuck, and they often look for people that can help them. And this is energies that have jumped into a person's aura that shouldn't be there. And with my consciousness, I am able to open the channels to remove them out of someone's auric field. So there's so much, honestly, there's so much. You can tap into advanced healing energies and bring that down. You can shift timelines. You can do all sorts for the healing, or to trigger the healing in another person. There's much more to it. It would take me forever if I carried on. Let's have a look at the next one. Oh yeah, narrative construction. Humans have the ability to construct personal narratives that shape their identities. This is a dynamic process where individuals can reframe their past experiences, thereby altering how they view themselves and their potential, which is crucial for personal growth and resilience. So looking at how you view yourself, and basically what you make up about yourself, or what you feel about yourself, what you think about yourself, you can change it. If you've got negative thoughts about yourself, you can change it to positive ones to reshape the way you come across, or the way you are. Again, it can take for some years of training. For others, it can take a few days of just training yourself to think differently, and it has a knock-on effect right the way through. Here's another one: environmental and ecological awareness. A deepening consciousness can foster a sense of stewardship for the planet, engaging with ecological issues, understanding the interconnectedness of life, and advocating for sustainable practices reflecting on expanded consciousness that prioritizes collective well-being over individual gain. Again, thinking of the whole, thinking of all of planet Earth with that more expanded awareness, instead of being in, a lot of people are in their own little box, in their own little world, thinking about the whole of everything, and doing what you can to, help that whole, that unity consciousness. Obviously, we know where we're going with the new Earth, and it is all about that. It is all about that expanded awareness to include the whole, still being sovereign within yourself, but including the whole as you move forward in life, and picturing the whole of the earth being healed, or the whole of humanity being uplifted, bringing in the new earth more quickly than perhaps what it would if we didn't do anything like that. There's so many different things. I take people through a new earth connection, which we go into the future, into the new earth. People see what their new earth looks like, and we bring the blueprint of that back down and overlay it over now. And I do this, and I know that every time I do this with a group or individually, it's another piece of that puzzle being put into place to bring that new earth in, to anchor it in to the here and now. Yeah, so amazing. Different types of consciousness. Now, AI might not have picked up everything. So if there's anything that you know to be more than what I've just listed out there, then please write in the comments, and perhaps we can do another talk about this with the comments that have written, or any questions that may be put in, to go deeper. It's good to go deeper. So I am going to say bless you all. I'm going to pull a card for everybody, and we'll just see what comes out for the group. And let's just shuffle, and we're going to ask for a card for the group, and I'm going to take one off the top, and we'll just see what comes. Something that we all need to know, please. Okie dokie. Let's see. Actually, two flipped over. I am going to take one off the top, like I said. I'll read those others out now. Unveiling. Very interesting. Time to dazzle others with your brilliance. Show your work to others. Positive feedback will encourage you on your path of creativity. So it is time for us to step up and start getting out there, doing our work. Be seen. Go and be seen. Show your work to others. Get out there and start doing whatever you do. It is time for us to stand in our knowing and in our power, and for us to move forward like that and not be frightened about what other people think. It's time to be seen, to stand up and do the work that we've come here to do. So that was the one off the top. And funnily enough, we've got woman that's come out here, so a feminine energy surrounding this situation at present. And wait, now is not the best time for this move. The energies will be more aligned at a later date, and things will flow more smoothly then. So whatever this means for you in your life, have a little think about it. There might be something that you perhaps have been wanting to do in your life, and perhaps right now might not be the ideal time. I know that some of the planets are in retrograde, which often throws a spanner in the works. So just have a think about that. So it was weight and a woman influence on you. So I'm going to leave that with you. It can mean many, many things. So I'm not going to go into exactly what it means. I know that it will mean something personal for you, because it fell out, and it's an important message for you to listen to. So it was wait. I'll just say it again. Wait. Now is not the best time for this move. The energies will be more aligned at a later date, and things will flow more smoothly then. And a woman is surrounding, or a feminine energy is surrounding this situation at present. So I'm going to say bless you all, and thank you so much for listening and for being here with us. And I'm sending you lots and lots of love from New Zealand. Bye for now. Bye.